Hi, friends. Prepared Suburbanite here with a question and hopefully an answer. Why do we prep? A short while ago, I had the opportunity to revisit the question of why do we prep. The details that precipitated that conversation are personal, and I do not wish to reveal any individual's name, but suffice to say, I was challenged on the question itself, and the question came rather out of left field and in the form of, what are you afraid of? I wish I had the benefit of all these thoughts when that question was first posed to me, but now that I've had an opportunity to really delve into my innermost thoughts and feelings on the matter, I want to share my perspective with you, my friends on YouTube. The foremost thought I had was the realization that I simply no longer trust our federal government, as it says in the U.S. Constitution, to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessing of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. The Constitution is clear as it defines the role and responsibilities of the Congress, the role of the states, the executive power of the president, the judicial power of the Supreme Court and inferior courts, and the separation of powers within the three branches of the federal government. The past 19 and a half years are proof enough that the Founding Fathers' vision of government has been fundamentally distorted. No longer does our government establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessing of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Rather, it usurps our individual liberty with overreaching laws and excessive regulations, allows our borders to be breached to the terror of the public, which threatens our domestic tranquility, and has refused to provide for the common defense of our borders, and only serves to promote the general welfare of the illegal aliens. Look up Kate's Law if you please. We've allowed the national debt to climb to unsustainable levels, not to mention the unfunded liabilities incurred for the funding of Social Security and Medicare. The trade imbalance will reduce us to a second-class country if we continue with the same policies. It used to be that GM made cars in Flint, Michigan, and you couldn't drink the water in Mexico. Now GM makes their cars in Mexico, and you can't drink the water in Flint, Michigan. And when was the last time you bought an item that wasn't made in China? The Declaration of Independence contains a sentence that we should all take to heart: that whenever any form of government becomes disruptive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. I believe we have come to that point. That's why we prepare. We prepare to endure the inevitable. We prepare to ready ourselves for the sacrifice we must take. We prepare to rebuild a government that will live up to the vision of the Founding Fathers to secure the blessing of our liberty. I'm not calling for a revolution or a hostile takeover of our current government. Rather, I call on my brothers in liberty to stand fast, be active, exercise our God-given rights, and challenge the status quo, to vote, to exercise your freedom of speech, your right to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government of a redress of your grievances. The Declaration of Independence also reminds us, prudence will indeed dictate that the government long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. So why do we prepare? A time of national civil unrest is nearly upon us. The rights of individuals and groups of individuals are being usurped from both the right and the left. The victims can range from legal law-abiding gun owners to legal law-abiding members of the LGBT community, from Christians, Jews, and Muslims to atheists and agnostics, from free speech advocates to safe space purveyors. The division within these United States is sadly ironic, as the haves are pitted against the have-nots via income inequality, the blacks against the whites via Black Lives Matter, Christians against the Muslims via secularism and Islamic jihadism, females against males via feminism and rape culture, young against old, Democrat against Republican, left against right. The degradation of the family and the underlying values and ethics of our heritage are being systematically destroyed by today's rhetoric and politically correct vigilantism. Our paradigms of justice and equality are being upended. Our freedoms and liberties are being demolished one by one. The most astounding thing I've heard recently is that if you defend your family and property from an armed criminal by shooting that person, you have removed his civil rights for a fair trial. The strife will fester until such time as the blister pops and becomes infected. Then the unreal will enter our day-to-day lives. Riots, lawlessness, violence of such a nature as we have not experienced, at least here in the U.S. On a contrary point, but one that is also of great concern, is that our government will attempt to intercede as the violence escalates, as they have done in the past. Would that then be the downfall of liberty and the ascension of tyranny via martial law? Why do we prepare? With this, I'll close part one of Why Do We Prepare? Stay tuned for the second part of Why Do We Prepare? And remember, be prepared always. Prepared Suburbanite, out for now.